The question I want to answer today is, how on earth do you write the good, the bad, and the ugly? What it's been like to be married to him. So what I thought I would do is give you a few tips on how to simplify this project, but make it powerful and meaningful to you as well as to your spouse. So, what the point of it is writing out what has it been like to be married to this man so that he can really see what the impact has been on you. So, my first tip would be rather than talk about every little situation, go back and look at what the themes are and how have you felt? Coming out of those situations, how have you felt? Have you been squashed? Have you been dismissed, disregarded? Have you walked away feeling less than, not valuable? Whatever it is, talk about the feeling, what you have lost, and how you have changed in the midst of this marriage. So you are going to back it up probably by situations, circumstances, themes of how he likes to act, but your emphasis needs to be on how you feel. The point is, he can argue what he's done. He could say, I didn't mean it that way. You're remembering it wrong. This is what my intent was. I didn't really do that. He can gaslight all over the place about what he's done. But if you talk about it from the perspective of what you feel, your feelings are yours. They're not his to argue. They are what they are, and that's what you feel. I want you to recognize that that feeling is real, that you're not just some crazy person who can't figure out how to feel correctly, but you really feel that, and he can't argue with that. So as you're writing this, put feeling words in. For example, rather than saying, he betrayed me, say, I feel betrayed. Rather than saying he led me to believe that he was this kind of person, you can say something to the effect of, I feel tricked. I feel like I'm part of this facade. I feel unloved. I feel like I'm his very last priority. I feel no value in myself. I feel like I'm stupid, like I have no brain, like I don't know how to think, I don't know how to remember anything. I feel lost and confused. I feel very, very alone, even in this marriage. He gives everything to everyone else, leaves nothing for me. I feel like I'm just here. I feel used and abused. I feel like I'm just the housekeeper and the nanny. I feel like I'm going a little crazy. I feel like I have no hope. I don't know what to think about for the future. Those are some ideas of how to use feeling words about the event rather than just talking about the event. Does that make sense? Also, a good point to intertwine in all of that is how has this changed you? You once were this type of person, and now you're this. How has this marriage changed you? Some of those things could be good. There are good points in a marriage that, change you for the better, mature you, make you a more well-rounded person, more thoughtful, whatever. But there's probably a lot of this because it's been an abusive relationship that has changed you for the worse. It has stolen your joy or your hope or your ability to just live from your core self. So that's a way to write it. You can have some events in there, but just know that as Dr. Hawkins works on this with your husband, that more than likely, if there needs to be more evidence for why you feel this way, you can bring those events up later. But for it to make a really good impact from the start, go from what do you feel? What kind of person do you feel like you are in this marriage right here as it stands now? From the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, I've also had several ladies say this is an excruciating experience, that it's so hard to actually look back at these things that have happened to me in my marriage. And and they'll find that as they're writing it, new things come to mind, things they had forgotten about. And so the experience can be really, really hard. And I've heard some of you say that you're feeling a lot of despair in it. Like, why does this even matter? Because he's not going to listen to it. What if he just dismisses all of it? What if he doesn't care? And, all of that is true. He might not care. He might not get it. He might not come around and go, oh my gosh, what have I done? He might not have any of that moment. Hopefully he will. However, if his heart is too hard to see how much he has really damaged you in his leadership of this family, the way he has set the tone for the family, then you're right, he's not going to get it. But the bigger side of this is that you get it. And part of your healing is going to come from really looking at what has happened to you. Not brushing it over, not saying, oh, there's good times in there too, and holding on to that. And not just holding on to your expectation of what this could be, or your hope of what this should have been, or just the thought of, oh, I need to stay married because being married is good. I don't want to be alone. When you sit and look at what it's really been like, something shifts in you. All of a sudden you look at this and go, wait, I don't want to live another day like that. I don't want to just sit in that and pretend it didn't happen. I don't want to go on down this trajectory of where this path is going. So what that does is it makes this matter to you. You start to look at who your core self is and how you've changed in this and what you've lost in this. It gives you some courage to trust yourself, to trust your gut, to trust your instincts. It gives you some courage to set some boundaries down that say, wait, I'm not going to allow myself to be treated this way anymore. I don't want me going down that path anymore. So this is my boundary, to stay within this so that I can be who I know I really want to be, who I know that God has created me to be. It helps to grow your sense of self. When you look at that experience and you go, this is not what God intended marriage to be. It's not. And there's nothing in this that looks like God to the world. So it gives you a sense of self to look at that and go, wait, I don't want to do this anymore. I can be more intentional about shifting myself to be more who God intended to be in this marriage or out, if that's how it ends up being, because he refuses to change any of his destructive behavior. It helps you to know what steps to take next. And so the whole point of writing the good and the bad and the ugly is, yes, hopefully to open his eyes, but also for you to own what has happened to you in a way that you can change the trajectory of where you're headed now in life. I hope you have a good day, and I hope that this has been helpful. Take care.